All right, there has been a lot of talk and there's already buzz going on about the coaching carousel with Franklin going to Virginia Tech, and there's already people talking about the NIL and the portal opening up and who's going where. So let's jump into the video. All of this stems, there's been some building blocks here. Let's build some context to the video that I'm making, and it kind of, the first domino probably was Franklin getting fired from Penn State. That honestly probably realistically is the first domino, because then we got Penn State, then we got Florida, and then maybe Florida State, because a lot of people are talking to with Coach Norvell potentially getting fired. And then when you throw into the mix Coach Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, which I think would kind of be a silly, because it's like, you got a good gig at Ole Miss, why would you? Now I understand if you leave Ole Miss to go to LSU, I get that. But leaving Ole Miss to go to Florida, that makes no sense, because historically as a program, LSU is the better. I kind of see Ole Miss and Florida kind of at the same, they're on the same level. But again, like, this is the NIL era of college football where it's an open revolving door. And as we've seen, like, sometimes, you know, with how much rosters change and stuff, 1 year's it, and it's kind of weirdly a one and done every single year with just how much turnover there is. But anyways, what's going on now is, you know, you got Franklin, you got a little bit of talks of, you know, maybe Norvell getting fired at Florida State, Kiffin with Ole Miss, and now it's started to leak into Arizona, and all of a sudden Kenny Dillingham's name is in the mix. And this isn't me, you know, as an ASU fan being like, no, don't leave, you know, we need you. But some things, I mean, how many articles and how many post-game reactions has he given where he reaffirms, hey, this is where I want to be, I'm going to stay here, I'm trying to build something, which I admire that. Like, I think ASU can, if, you know, and I was talking about this with Wisconsin, and I'm saying this now with Virginia Tech, and what were some other programs that had a decent, like, they had a decent schedule on their plate when you look at their schedule, but like, just because their roster wasn't built like other teams, it's why they didn't win as many games. I think Michigan State was one team. You can always look at Iowa. You can look at Wisconsin, because again, Wisconsin played like 7 ranked teams, just like how Florida did coming into the season, and we knew Florida was going to have a tough strength of schedule this year. But like, I think ASU can compete with, this year it's Texas Tech, you know, BYU as well. What if next year it's Baylor and Utah, and like, ASU can hang with these teams, you know. And I think, you know, if, and we know this, you win your conference, you're in the playoff. That's how it is. And so I think, I wouldn't leave personally, you know, but that's, you know, neither here nor there. But I think, with, you know, him potentially being on the move, there's also talks too of Sam Leavitt leaving, which is another part of this video on how, you know, and Sam Leavitt, because that's one of the bigger reports that's coming out too with portal talks, because he's had a lingering injury all season, but then now with the foot, because he's missed some significant time with the foot injury, now all of a sudden, you know, he might be entering the portal and stuff and going somewhere else, because he's going to bring a hefty price tag on if he returns and stuff, which I do think ASU can definitely afford it. But it's like, whoa, let's pump the brakes here. Why would Leavitt leave? I mean, he came to ASU. You know, Dillingham is his guy. And now, could I see a package deal where wherever Dillingham goes, Leavitt goes? Yes, let's not, you know, get too crazy here. Because if Dillingham leaves to LSU, do I think Leavitt follows? Yes. I mean, because we've seen this before. We've seen this in the past. As a Sooner fan, I know exactly how this feels, because, hey, we saw, you know, Lincoln Riley leave, and then we saw Caleb Williams leave as well, and we saw how that went. But even, you know, with USC, Lincoln Riley's kind of been in the mix for, maybe he's on the hot seat at USC as well. But I think it's all just smoke and mirrors. All this to be said, with all the movements and predictions and trajectory of where everybody's going, I don't think Leavitt's going to leave. I think Leavitt has earned himself kind of household status here at ASU. Not like statue, hey, he's the GOAT status, kind of like Scatterbo, but because he is a household name. Like, ASU needs to retire number 4. Nobody else should wear it. But I think Levitt's going to stay. I think Dillingham's going to stay at ASU. Now, would I be surprised if Tyson and Levitt as well both declare for the draft? No, I wouldn't be surprised at all, because a lot of people have projected Tyson to be a top recruit in the draft for receivers, and hey, if you earned it, yeah, go get it. But yeah, Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, don't think it's going to happen. Who else? There was talks. I don't think Florida State's going to give up on Mike Norvell. But now predictions for who's going to get the LSU job. I think it's funny, too, that the Gruden name's been circling out there. Maybe Coach Orgeron's coming back. I both think those are kind of smoke and mirror. It would be funny and interesting to see. But I am curious to see who comes for the Penn State job, who comes for the Florida job, who's going to be there for the LSU job as well. I think it's going to be names that we have seen before, but it's not going to be big names that are already in big places. Like, for example, like Lonnie Sitake at BYU. He's not going to leave BYU to go to LSU. Or, Whittingham with Utah. He's not going to leave Utah to. So I think it's going to be someone maybe in, if I were to make a guess or a prediction for who would fill those, it would be somebody who is an offensive or defensive coordinator at one of the bigger, higher ranked schools, kind of like how Venables went from under Dabo Swinney, from Clemson to Oklahoma. It'd be one of those. So, we go look at the top teams in the country, who has the best offensive coordinator, who has the best defensive coordinator. Maybe them. The top 3, top 4, top 5 coaches of the teams that are leading the Big 12. Why would they leave to go to the SEC? So I would see something like, okay, maybe one of these coaches, even Sonny over here at TCU, maybe he might go. That would be my prediction and guess, because I don't think anybody within the SEC would go to another SEC, even though we've already seen that happen before. Like Coach DeBoer. Why would Coach DeBoer with Alabama or Kirby Smart, where you got something going here and it's working real good, why would you leave? So that's just my thoughts and predictions. I know this was a long-winded rant and a longer video, but that's just my thoughts and predictions on the coaching carousel, giving kind of my insight on that and the potential of Sam Levitt leaving and going to the portal. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. If you enjoyed the video, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.